Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, one of the rhino keepers here at the Houston Zoo, and today you're going to get the pleasure of meeting Indy the white rhino. Indy is one of our two male white rhinos. He's only 9 years old, so he is at the age where they're maturing now, and he weighs over 4,000 pounds. He's 4,400 pounds right now. And we got Kim here, that's also a rhino keeper, that's feeding him alfalfa. Alfalfa is their favorite treat. They love it. They'll do anything for it. It's like rhino chocolate to a white rhino. Okay. And we do a lot of training with the boys. So he's actually trained to open his mouth on cue so we can inspect his teeth and check them out. Because they only have molars in the back. They don't have any front teeth. So by him opening his mouth, we can really check out those teeth and make sure they're still healthy. These guys are grazers, which means they only eat grass. White rhinos are very picky eaters. If it's not a type of grass, they won't eat it. So we give them, they get about 1.5 bales of hay a day. A bale of hay can weigh 40 to 60 pounds. And they get mostly Timothy and coastal hay. And these guys have the big wide lips. That's how you can tell he's a white rhino, where your other African rhinos have more like a triangle lip. And so those wide lips help them pull the grass out of the ground. White rhinos also have 2 horns. Not all rhino species have 2 horns. A couple of the Asian species of rhinos only have 1 horn. There's only 2 African species of rhinos, white rhinos and black rhinos. Oh, yes. And everyone, we're behind the scenes in the rhino barn today. This is where the rhinos stay when it's like cold at night. We can put them in here. It's a heated barn, so you're getting the pleasure of seeing the behind the scenes today in the rhino barn. And it's a place we can keep them when there's a hurricane. So Indy here, he lives here with his brother George. Now they're mature rhinos. So mature male rhinos do not like to live together. They want their own territory and they don't want another male together. So if you come to the zoo, you'll probably only see 1 rhino on exhibit right now. And that's just because it's their territory and they don't want the other one in their territory right now. So this one's Indy. What else could I say about Indy? These guys don't have the best eyesight, but they have great sense of smell and hearing. You can see he has big old nostrils, and he also has these big ears that are like cones that he constantly turns to listen to everything around him. So he could probably smell you and hear you before he's going to see you. Michaela asks, are white rhinos endangered? Yes, they are. So all 5 rhino species are endangered. They're not doing very well. There's less than 30,000 rhinos left in the world of all 5 species. White rhinos are doing the best. There's probably about, how many is there? 14 to 16,000 left right now. But they're all getting poached for their horn. These guys don't have natural predators. Indy here is like a giant tank. When he's full grown, he could weigh up to 5,000 pounds. So there's not much that can take down a rhino. When you're like a giant tank, you can defend yourself from most of the predators you find in Africa. These guys only have 3 toes. They're an odd-toed ungulate. And something really cool about their feet is actually it's like padded on the bottom. So when they're running, they can actually like gallop like a horse, but it's completely silent. All the padding on the floor on the bottom of their feet will actually absorb their sound when they're running. And it's pretty cute because they'll start trotting like a horse when they get all playful and run around. These guys are also very fast. They can spin on a dime like it's nothing. And their natural instinct, if something startles them or spooks them, they just charge at it. And that has to do with like their poor eyesight. So if you just charge at something, it usually is going to spook it off. And that's how they can defend themselves from other animals that scare them. Indy's close to 6 feet tall now. Rhinos can live pretty long. They can get into their 40s. Some even make it to their 50s. So they kind of mature a little bit later, around the age of 8 to 10. Alexa asks, how can you help save rhinos in the wild? So the best way to probably help save the rhinos here in the Houston area is come visit the Houston Zoo. Part of your admissions fee goes to help animals in the wild. Lindsay asks, how fast can they move or run? So rhinos can actually move pretty fast. They can run like 30, 35 miles per hour, and they can spin on a dime. So they're very quick movers. Indy here, I guess I could tell you about his personality. He's kind of always been our Mr. Independence. That's how he got his name, because apparently as a calf he was very independent and would walk away from his mom and go say hi to everybody. So he's still very independent. At times he's kind of, when we had 3 rhinos, he was the smarter one of the group. He kind of catches on fast and learns quickly. He can be a little bit more shy. He doesn't always want attention as much as the other rhino. Let's see what else. Christine asked, there used to be 3 rhinos, where did the one leave? So we had originally 3 young males. We had a little bachelor group going, but now that they've matured, they don't want to live together anymore. They have their own territory. So Mumbles, one of our 3rd rhinos, got a breeding recommendation to go to Atlanta Zoo, so he's there to hopefully breed with a couple females. Jessica asked, what is their diet included? So their main diet is strictly hay. These guys are grazers, so in the wild they would eat all different types of grasses. So here at the zoo we give them different varieties of hay. They get Timothy hay, coastal hay, and then what Indy's eating right now is alfalfa hay, which is very high in protein, and it's basically his favorite food. It's like candy to a white rhino, so he gets that one in for treats and training, is when he gets alfalfa. And just like you can't eat too much candy, he can't eat too much alfalfa. Dominique asked, how long do their horns get? So their horns can get up to, I believe, like 5 feet long. And they actually sharpen their horns on their own. They'll sharpen it on like logs and rocks and whatever it finds. So you can see that that second horn, he sharpened it a little bit different. And basically, rhino horn is made out of keratin, the same thing as your fingernails. So you can see like the fibers at the bottom of his horn. Looks like compacted hair. And so it's basically all this keratin, and they'll sharpen it and decide what size horn they want. And make sure that it's pointy or whatever consistency they want. And their horn does continually grow, just like your fingernail keeps growing. Rhino horn continually grows too. So that's why they file it down as well. Especially when it's red, it's a lot more soft, so you'll see them sharpening the horn on a lot of different things after a rainstorm. And these guys do have hair all over their body. It's just very sparse and very short, so it's hard to see. But they do actually have hair. And then a lot of times you'll see more of the hair like the end of the tail. They have more of a hair clump. And then on the edge of their ears, there's more thicker hair. So we do do a lot of training with our rhinos here at the zoo, and we do a lot of behaviors for husbandry to help make us easier to manage the rhinos. Indy here knows how to back up. He can come when he calls. He's opened his mouth on cue. That's super cute. And then we also do some other like medical stuff, like we can collect blood from his ears, so if he ever has any health issues, he can voluntarily, we can get blood from him to check and make sure he's still doing well. George asked, where is George at? Outside? Yes, he is outside today. Since they don't want each other in their territory, they take turns every day being inside and outside. So today is Indy's turn to be in the holding yard. And we brought him in the barn so you can see Indy. They do make vocalization sounds. They can make like high-pitched whimper noises, grunts, huffs, all different sounds. And they'll even make like a chuff sound. Sometimes you'll call their name and they'll chuff at you, and it's real cute. Karen asks, how can you tell Indy and George apart? So the best way to tell the two rhinos apart is by their ears. Indy here has more of like a diamond-shaped ear, where if you look at George, it kind of like looks more like an elf ear. The tip of it kind of goes out a little bit more dramatically than Indy here. Oh, Cooper and Stella say hi. Hi! These guys do roll in the mud. That's how they cool themselves off. So just kind of like a pig will roll in the mud to cool themselves off, the rhinos do as well. So especially in the summertime, you'll see them in the mud a lot. They have a giant mud wallow on exhibit that they have that they can roll in. Today he's actually pretty clean. Usually he has a lot more mud on him. These guys are very strong. They could probably flip a car if they wanted to, and they have a lot of muscle above their neck to help pick up that powerful head. George asked, why do they hang out at the back of the exhibit? Probably because they want to see the other rhino. A lot of times there's a rhino in holding yard, so even though they don't want each other in their territory, they still want to check on each other. So you'll find them a lot of times hanging out by the holding gate. But in general, rhinos are a pretty cool species. They're probably one of my favorites. They love to be scratched. If you pick a really good spot, they'll like kick out their leg, curl up their tail. It's pretty cute. And they do like to come over and say hi some days. So I just want to say thanks for everyone for tuning in and joining us. Join us again next Wednesday at 11 a.m. for another Facebook Live.